So we're back at it with another Build Biology. This is pretty much voted everybody's favorite car from SEMA, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Riley, what's up, man?
How's it going?
What have you brought us?
This is my 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. This is a couple years of disregarding health and finance management and building stuff in my parents' side yard.
Perfect, man. Yeah. So usually we start this off with the outside, but you already have the hood off, which is crazy. You can't deny what's going on here. This is not your typical 1970s Trans Am from the outside. What do we have going on with the fenders? And look at how wide this is.
Yeah, so it's a bit wider than stock. So basically it started with a 70 Firebird, got it to the house a couple years ago. Within a week had it torn down to a shell, it went to media, and then got the shell back and decided, you know, it's not gonna be a back half car, so we're just gonna cut everything out. So I cut the whole interior out. It's actually a single layer of Pontiac still. The rest is all tube chassis. 7 foot wide, so a 7 foot track.
7 feet from...
Yep, 7 feet.
And that's front and rear?
Front and rear.
Where does all the bodywork come from then?
It's actually stock bodied. Flares are steel, so 18 gauge steel flares that I made out of some flat sheet.
Hand rolled everything.
Yep. So
and what do you use for something like that?
So I'm doing this on the side yard of my parents' house, did this one.
From the side yard of his parents' house. This is some big professional shop in the carport, right?
Right, yeah, it's actually open on front and back, so it's during the winter and the summer it gets hot and really cold. So, but no, it's stock body. So I actually did the whole thing with hammer dolly, shrinker stretcher, and a bead roller.
Wow.
Actually. So,
man, and it's so clean. You've done such a good job.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
And I'm gonna work just around a little bit. You can see the side exhaust here. And that, did you have to cut the door out and all that stuff for this?
Yeah, so the door's cut out and capped, rockers cut out and capped. The SEMA crunch was pretty real this year. I wasn't actually gonna be there. I got a call from one of the sponsors of the car, Vibrant, and they wanted the car and I had 60 days. So the flares took me 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah.
Man, you worked fast. And this was just done afterwards. I'm sure you had the wheels and everything mocked up ready. Yeah. And you had to make this fit afterwards.
So I decided on 7 feet 2 years ago, built a frame table.
You just made up this number? You're like 7 feet
well,
is the one?
So oddly enough, I used to have a truck and trailer. Went out and measured the trailer, said I can fit 7 feet. And then to finish it, I had to sell that truck and trailer. So it ended up 7 feet, built it on the table. Didn't come off the table until 5 weeks before we rolled into Vegas.
Right on, man. It's absolutely gorgeous bodywork on the outside. Working our way to the back, so you've got the NACA in the rear.
Through the NACA you have one set on each side goes to the oil coolers. I have an oil cooler for the differential and one for the transmission that go through pumps. And then the other two go to the rear brakes. So two coolers and then 2 brake ducts.
For the brakes, right. And that's NASCAR style.
Somewhat, yeah. It'd be a super unlimited car or something like that.
Yeah,
but
what are the wheels,
They're Panasport C816s. I actually got them from a guy. They were new in box from the 90s. So I found them on some old racing website and called him up. It was a 6-month-old ad, and he said, yeah, I still got them. You want them? I said, yeah, take my money.
Take my money.
So they're actually, this is how they came, 16-12 front and rear.
16 by 12. And what size tire we have?
So the rear is a 25-5, 12-5, 16 Hoosier, and the fronts are 23-5, 12, 16.
And what is this color you chose here?
So this color is actually ermine white. It ran from the mid-50s to the mid-70s for GM. So it's somewhat of like an eggshell. It's a little off-white, not pure white.
Right.
Kind of matches the vintage a little bit.
And then is everything Lexan?
Yeah, so Lexan everything, Harwood kit. Their cut to fit kit that needs a little more cutting. So Lexan
cut to fit.
Yeah, cut to fit. So
now let's actually get into the inside.
All right, yeah.
Cockpit looks insane, and since you told me you did this, I'm going to go ahead and assume you bead rolled everything as well in here.
Yeah. Yep.
So everything's Zeus fastened. The door cards, all hand built.
Yeah. So basically everything but the paint and powder was done on the side yard of the house. So
this cage work is also insane.
Thank you.
What do we have for material here?
So it's all 095 DOM. It's all so I didn't actually touch the car with a MIG welder. This was my learn how to TIG efficiently, and I managed to make it through. So it's...
You've done a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
You got to save all the outside stuff for last, so it looks like you knew what you're doing by the end.
Yeah,
you start with the stuff that's underneath.
Yeah, you start with the stuff you can unbolt and redo at the end.
Right, so you got a tilt and pedal box. That looks pretty cool, but you have all the reservoirs run inside.
Right.
And were these... Was this like a, you have a custom panel up there made temple dyed as well. It's kind of hard to see behind.
Yeah, so it's got a little mount panel. Put them inside because there's really no area under the engine compartment that doesn't get really, really, really hot.
So I see Holley Efi.
Yep. So it's a Holley Dominator system with their digital display. Put it right up on top. One of the things about the car, the reason it's all Zeus fastened is because the engine's pushed back. It's a belly panned square tube under here. So if you can't take the fasteners out and take the panels out, you physically can't get the transmission out. You can't service linkage. You can't get the drive line out. So with that, Dominator went up on the top. It didn't want the engine compartment getting hot and melting stuff. So it went up on top of bulkhead connectors so that we can actually take the panels apart.
So how far does the engine actually come back to here? Because I see everything you have is Zeus to able to
so
get to.
The back cylinder is about here. So it's right about my foot. So it's 20 inches back from stock.
Does that say Dale Earnhardt?
It does. Yeah.
What the Dale?
So I bought the transmission used. It's a Tex T 101A dog box 4-speed. It's from a Cup car. Read that there was actually a select number that were made for his road cars. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know, but I know that it's all polished, gears and dogs and everything inside. It's pretty transmission.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah.
ARC switches. They basically run the whole car.
I really like how you did this, like inset and really clean. Instead of like being bolted to something, it recessed in there. Right. You can see that that's flush out there. That's so nice to see.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, as far as chassis design and everything else, because this cage is unreal. This was all your design then?
Right.
Man, that's incredible. And was this like anything done with CAD, or you just kind of shot from the hip?
No, I shot straight from the hip.
That's amazing.
That's on the list of things to learn, but for now I'm working on like Microsoft Word and stuff. So we'll get there at some point.
Mario Paint.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard for us to get to the back because you have all this Lexan and stuff, but we can see into the back from here that you have, that's the Winners.
Yep. So Winners quick change built by RTS, currently has a 412 ratio in it. G-Force built me a set of axles.
The process to cut everything away and even get to
it was a little nerve-wracking, because
that's the scary part, right?
Right, because it's it's a unibody car, so it's got a subframe out the front, and then the frame rails run under the back and hold up the back of the car. So you start cutting. You cut one thing and it's hard to put it back.
Yeah.
Kind of decided that I was going to skin the whole thing and get rid of as much as I could. So really all that remains is the outside. So to carry the doors, pillars, roof skin, quarters, so everything you see on the outside. But when you go to the inside, you're actually seeing the inside of the outside. There's no internal B-pillars, no internal roof skin, no internal floor. There was no rear tail panel, no rear inner quarters, none of that. It's all supported by the chassis.
Just the skin.
And then welding it to the chassis was really the thing that stiffened her up.
See if I can get in and see some of that actually.
Yeah, so the backs of these guys,
you
see this wrap right here.
Yeah, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah,
man,
so
you've done such an excellent job. What's the line you have? Oh, is that a
the fire suppression? Yeah, it's onboard suppression. We've got 2 Safecraft bottles back behind the passenger seat.
Gotcha. That was run so cleanly, I didn't even see it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can pop the back off?
Yeah.
What is this, fuel safe?
Yeah, fuel safe, bladdered, alcohol safe cell. So it's a 28-gallon custom cell they built for me. The straight methanol is 28 gallons.
28 gallons.
Yeah.
How long will that last you think? Well, you did 40
wide
hours
open
on the dyno.
Yeah, at wide open, it's probably 14 miles, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, what was your inspiration for this?
So it's something that I would love to do for a living someday. So the best way I can figure to find out if 1, you got the stuff, and 2, if you need a business card is probably to try and do it once. So
I'd like to say that this is the coolest business card I've ever seen.
It's hard to throw away.
So his name's right here. If anybody's looking, okay, if you're looking for anybody on this business card, there's his name.
Yeah. So
and this is his business card.
Yeah, it's hard to toss away after the trade show.
All right, let's talk about what we got going on here, which you can't mistake. What did somebody say? Spaghetti tubes? Or
spaghetti headers. I think.
Spaghetti headers?
Yeah. So it's an 8-to-1. It is a large one at that. Being that I pushed the motor back and I actually changed the driver position a little bit, paired with the ride height, makes it, I would say, impossible to get a header past me of any size.
Oh yeah.
That meant they had to come forward.
Yeah, I mean, even seeing as where you have the motor coming through,
so
where is that going to go?
Yeah, so cylinder 7's all the way back here. So that plug's a lot of fun. But
so what is the motor itself?
So the motor was built by Motor Machine in Carmichael, California. It is a 400-inch Dart LS Next, their Gen 2 block with half-inch mains, very, very stout block because we have custom Cali's crank, very short stroke GRP aluminum rods, custom JE pistons that yield 16 1/4 to 1 compression.
16 1/4 to 1.
Yeah, yeah. So
that's what we heard when you pulled in.
Yep.
That's why everybody came running out of the office.
Yeah. Dart, their 10-degree head, it's a canted valve head, which is why they look funky. They kind of look like a big block head. But they're a canted valve system. It's got a titanium valves in it, very large cam motion, billet cam. If I'm gonna spend the money, I want to make sure that it's everything an engine is to me, which, there's engines that kill it in numbers and make way more horsepower, but to me, a huge compression, snappy, angry, borderline suicidal LS or V8 variant that's the engine for me.
We see
so, that. Yeah, so
what is it rev to?
Angry. So it's set up to rev to 10,000. That's our goal. The goal was set kind of in association with the visceral experience I wanted from it was 10,000 RPM, and I'd like to see 1,000 horse at the flywheel, of course.
And what did it make? You just got off the dyno.
So we just got off the dyno, and we put a soft tune-up in it to keep it safe. And it made 700 to the tire.
Naturally aspirated.
Naturally aspirated. So no power outage, no nitrous, no nothing. Yeah.
And you have the whole tube front, because everything's tubed, but coming up tuning, the steering is pretty far forward here, the steering rack.
Yep.
So and this is all, it looks to be custom billet and stuff like that as
well.
So
these are actually Coleman spindles with a 5-on-5 snout, 5-on-5 hub. They're modular, so being that the wheels, they're fairly negative in their offset. They're close anyway, but you want your spindle inclination angle to basically point through the center of the tire.
Yeah.
So with that, the spindles are modular. So these have 10 degrees, I believe, 10 or 11 degrees of SIA, spindle inclination angle. So my caster's not all crazy and it doesn't basically scrub super bad when you steer.
All right. Walk me through some of this plumbing.
One of the hard things about the plumbing was because of the 8-to-1, you obviously can't run lines right over the top.
It's too much heat.
Yeah, so you can't go into the bottom. There's some under the bottom, but it's also got a 5-stage dry sump under there. So there's already a bunch under there.
So that's running here.
Yep, so we've got 5-stage dry sump, 4-gallon tank, vibrant catch can. This vent can vents the tank. This vent can vents the engine so that it doesn't pull too much vacuum.
Oh, just from
the pump will pull anywhere from 22 to 25 pounds of vacuum, which is too much. It'll strip the cylinders, knock out wrist pins, the whole nine. Vent can over here, oil cooler right here.
That is a big oil cooler, man.
Yeah, big oil cooler. If there's one thing I don't want at high RPM, it's hot, ruined oil. So the alcohol ruins it enough. I don't need heat ruining it too. So big oil cooler. We've got a couple of actual Chase Bays tucked Civic radiators.
And these, man, you just came in here to piss me off, didn't you?
What's that?
Look at how awesome this is.
Oh,
how long does this take?
Let me tell you, out of all the tubes in this entire car, these two had me throwing the most stuff.
Oh, dude,
there are some duplicates at home.
Too much to look at. There's so much that we could go over. This could be the longest build biology ever. We could just do this all day. I could. So I got to see underneath it. So I think that's our next step. We'll start from the outside in. We can see now the brake vent stuff. That's really cool. That was made by you. All the different suspension stuff you have going on. Now, was this all made by you?
Yeah, so basically the only thing that I didn't make was these guys. So the spindles are the Coleman modular spindles. But yeah, I built the arms, pockets of course, and then all the mount points, push rod mounts.
And I see you do have adjustment too. I saw that from the top where you have washers, and I heard you saying before that you wanted to make that probably something billet.
Yeah, so I'll probably get at some point some incremented, adjustable billet washers or something of the sort so that I can adjust it more quickly.
Yeah.
So instead of having to pull the bolt all the way out, make a, a horseshoe type deal.
And then you have a big sway bar, adjustable.
So Speedway spline bar, you got to put a bend in them.
Did you bend that?
Yeah.
What do you use to bend that?
You actually have to use a torch and either a vise. I mean, it depends on. We might have used a vise. Yeah, and I talked to him about it, and I guess they're a flame cut arm already. They said the heat doesn't really mess with it all. So that's what they actually said to do. So
wow, that's awesome. And now we get to see a little bit more of what you said was the biggest headache, which was plumbing.
Right, right.
So you have quite a mess of stuff going on under here,
right.
but it looks awesome because everything serves a purpose. So.
Right, yeah, so the big thing was it's a 5-stage ARE pump, 4 scavenge stages, and then a supply. It basically is pulling oil out of the pan and out of the valley of the motor and out of the valve train as well. So we don't have any oil buildup. High RPM doesn't like to try and slosh through a bunch of oil, whips it up, foams it. So that's a lot of the plumbing. A lot of the plumbing was pump related for the sump.
These are custom divorce lines.
Right, yeah, so I could not find anywhere a dual -12 to -20 coupler of any sort. Got a couple of -12 bungs, a -20 bung, and some aluminum tubing and a little DIY on it.
Looks good, it looks really clean. And I saw you had another one over here.
Right, yeah.
It's pretty cool, tucked up in the fender well. And this is all stainless?
Yeah, all stainless header, all braided stainless lines, all vibrant performance tubing and lines. So
did you make the collector as well?
I did, yeah.
Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You did a really good job on that too.
Thank you.
I bet that took some amount of time. This thing
got
looks
it
like
done.
a weapon in a video game. That's it. That's what I see out of that. It just looks amazing, man.
Thank you.
Oh man, look at that. And this was all built by you as well, in-house.
Yeah.
Not even in-house.
It's out of house, yeah.
On the side of the house. Rear end here, we have the winner's quick change.
Right.
This nice removable cradle that you made for it. Now you can see how big this tank is. Like if you
It's
look
large,
up and it's extended over there, and then that's a pretty big tank. There's so much more detail underneath. Like you said, you want to be able to flip this car any direction and see no imperfections and just be happy with what you have.
Yeah.
I'm really excited just to see you get in this car, fire it up, go take it to the track, get your testing in, figure out what you did right, what you did wrong. Really made a work of art, man.
I very much appreciate that.
Everybody in the shop knows like, this is going to be a good one. So
thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate all your hard work. I'm sure everybody else does, but
appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, man. This is amazing. I'm building car beds.